Hey friends, Amanda here, Bare Bones Living. Welcome back to my kitchen. And today I am turning this box of apples into a year's worth of applesauce for my family. In my family, applesauce is a treat for us. And it's great for everybody, from our baby to me and my husband. Everyone can eat it. I can use it in recipes. Usually we just use it as a side to one of our meals. We love eating it with pork. And it's a great baby food. And I have these resealable, reusable pouches. Like, you know those apple sauce pouches, on the go pouches? I have those that I can reuse for my baby, and I can just put that applesauce in that pouch, and I have an on-the-go snack for the baby too. But first, I need to process these apples, and for that, I'm going to be using this Johnny Appleseed peeler, which I absolutely love, and it makes quick work of both peeling and slicing these apples. Let me show you how it works. So if you haven't seen one of these things, it's really neat. It's going to suction, this little lever is going to suction it to my countertop here to secure it down so it doesn't move on me. And then I actually haven't used this in a while, so I have to remind myself how to use it. Okay, so this is not in the position that you want to use it in. What you're going to want to do is pull back on this to disengage, and then pull this all the way through. Then I'm going to stick the apple onto the prongs, and I'm going to move it forward. And then I'm just going to spin. And as I spin, this is going to peel it, and then there's a blade on this side that is actually spiraling the apple. So then when you come out on the other side, your core is left in the middle, and you're left with a ring of apples.
Is that? What is that?
It's an apple. And then you just take off the core and the peels and put it in one bucket, and then your apples in the other. Now you won't want this peel in your applesauce if you're going to can it. So I would have to take this off. Or do you just want to eat it? Here, take it. Use your hands. But makes quick work of this. Cool?
It's very juicy.
Yeah.
Yum.
I love this thing. Like, that one worked a lot better. So that first one was just user error because I haven't used this in a while. So I'm just going to continue through processing it. What I didn't do the first time is start turning it when you hit this thing. Don't bring it all the way up to here, and it'll start peeling further up your apple and get more of that peel off. It's not a perfect system, but it's pretty darn close. So now at this point I have cut off whatever skin was still remaining and any spots that I thought were not something we wanted to eat that had maybe bruised or whatever. It sometimes has passed because with two little ones here there are lots of distractions, so the apples have oxidized quite a bit. These are not bad, they're just browning from the oxidation. But at this point, I have about 16 pounds of apples here. And I have always followed the Pioneer Woman's recipe for applesauce, so that's just what I'm gonna do. And I had to split it between two. So I'm gonna add a cup of apple juice. Her recipe in each. Her recipe is for, I believe, 6 pounds of apples. Pardon me, I have 14 pounds of apples here. Anyway, that didn't sound right. So for her recipe, it's 6 pounds of apples is 1 cup of apple juice, but because I have about 7 pounds of apples here, I'm gonna split 1/3 of a cup between the two. Try to keep it what the recipe calls for. Next, the recipe calls for a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. So I'll put a 1/2 in each. And then just a little more. Next is the juice of a lemon, which is about 3 tablespoons. And last is a teaspoon of cinnamon. Then I'm going to mix these up and cook them over a medium heat for about 25 minutes until they're nice and broken down and soft. And as these cook down, the apples are going to release a lot of their juice, and these apples that I got from Azure were marketed as juicing apples, so they are very juicy. So you're going to get a lot of the juice out of these apples, and this is going to condense down quite a bit. And if you're new to making your own applesauce or new to making anything really, don't do like a big portion like I'm doing. You can just buy a 10-pound bag of apples from your grocery store and eat a few of them and then make one batch. You also don't need to can this. You can freeze it or just keep it in your refrigerator, but if you're planning on keeping it in your refrigerator, you do have to eat it fairly quickly, within a couple of weeks. So you wouldn't want to make a bunch of them and keep them in your refrigerator, because my family wouldn't go through that much in the refrigerator. You can also freeze them. I am canning these today because I do not have any freezer space, and I want these to last me for at least a year. So now these have cooked down and they are ready to be processed in either a blender, a food processor, whatever you're going to use. But first I'm going to let them cool just a little bit because I'm using a food processor and mine seems to be very sensitive to very hot. At this point, I'm now going to process these with my food processors. This one is a KitchenAid food processor that I have had for probably 10 years. And I don't really like it except for that it has a big volume. Like this holds obviously a lot more than this. But this machine is extremely fickle. It's temperature sensitive, it's pressure sensitive. Anytime I try to use this thing, it's got some sort of issue with it. The safety mechanisms, I have to like click it off and click it back on again because it trips the safety a lot. So it's just a very fickle machine. So for my birthday, I got a Cuisinart, and we're gonna see if this one does any better. But now you just need to process down your apples and all this lovely juice to the consistency that your family will enjoy. And as I expected, I needed to do 2 rounds of processing with this one, and again, it being so fickle and glitchy, I can't just, anytime I turn it off, I have to re-click this thing open and close to like re-trigger or re-unlock the safety, which is very annoying to me. And with this Cuisinart, it just processed it in one. I processed these for the same amount of time and everything was good in here. And I could probably turn this back on. I didn't try actually, but I'm already happier with this. The only thing that this has over this currently is the capacity. So now I'm gonna get these into jars. I'm going to be filling pint jars, leaving a 1/2 inch headspace. And I'm going to water bath can them for 20 minutes. Thank you guys for stopping by today and joining in on our journey here at Bare Bones Living. We'll catch you on the next one.